If you thought Raquel Welch's on-screen vengeance in Hannie Caulder was wild, just wait until you hear about the real-life bombshell behind the camera. Welch wasn't just a sex symbol, she was a force of nature, and her journey to the gunslinging frontier in this 1971 British Western is as surprising as the film itself. But before we dig into the scandalous private life of one of her co-stars, let's saddle up and ride through this unforgettable tale. Directed by Burt Kennedy, who, by the way, rewrote the screenplay without credit. Hannie Caulder stars Raquel Welch as Hannie, a frontier wife whose life is destroyed when the notorious Clements brothers, played by Ernest Borgnine, Strother Martin, and Jack Elam, murder her husband and assault her. Left for dead, Hannie rises from the ashes, driven by an unquenchable thirst for revenge. Welch delivers one of her most commanding performances, stepping far beyond her usual glamorous roles. As the film opens, we're treated to scenes that feel like a wild hybrid between Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch and a Three Stooges slapstick routine, thanks to the bumbling yet dangerous Clements brothers. To transform herself into a vengeance-driven gunslinger, Hannie enlists the help of bounty hunter Thomas Price, played with rugged charm by Robert Culp. Price becomes her guide and mentor, showing her not only how to shoot, but also how to steel her heart for the inevitable violence ahead. Raquel Welch's character starts off vulnerable, so vulnerable in fact, that she spends a good portion of the early film wandering around with just a blanket draped over her shoulders, pants nowhere in sight. It was both a striking visual and a subtle nod to her vulnerability and rawness before she morphs into a cold-blooded avenger. Adding another layer of intrigue is Christopher Lee as Bailey, the gunsmith who forges a custom revolver for Hannie. He designs it specifically for a fast draw, turning Welch's Hannie into a living embodiment of revenge on the frontier. The film's tension peaks in a series of explosive showdowns. Hannie confronts and kills Frank Clemens, played by Jack Elam in a whorehouse, shoots Rufus Clemens, played by Strother Martin in a store, and finally faces Emmett Clemens, played by Ernest Borgnine, in an abandoned prison. There, she almost meets her end, if not for a last-minute intervention by the mysterious preacher, played by Stephen Boyd. In the end, she learns that revenge changes a person forever, a lesson that echoes far beyond the dusty streets of this Western. Behind the scenes, Hannie Caulder had its own wild ride. The film was produced by Tegon British Film Productions, but it all started with Raquel Welch's then-husband, Patrick Curtis. He originally pitched a horror film to Tegon, but eventually swayed them into financing this revenge Western instead. Welch and Curtis even formed their own production company, Kurtwell, a mashup of their names, and agreed to work for no salary, choosing instead to take a percentage of the profits. While the film underperformed in the US, it was a major hit in the UK, proving that Raquel's draw transcended borders. A tragic footnote to the production involves Rod Redwing, the technical advisor and fast draw expert who trained Robert Culp. Redwing passed away from a heart attack on a flight returning from the film's production in Spain, never getting to see the final result of his work on screen. If you're a fan of Raquel Welch, you might be surprised to learn that she doesn't speak a single line until almost 19 minutes into the film, despite appearing early and often. But her presence is magnetic enough to carry entire scenes without a word. Quentin Tarantino even cited Hannie Caulder as a major influence on Kill Bill, especially the mentor-protege dynamic in the vengeful heroine arc. Before we continue, a quick shout out to Perfect Fifth. They've got some incredible old-school music-inspired graphic tees, like this VU meter design capturing that perfect analog vibe, or this melting vinyl sunset, a minimalist ode to the golden era of vinyl. And this Star Strings and Stripes, a rock and roll twist that's perfect for the Patriots. And for Golden Throwback viewers, they're giving you an exclusive 20% off with the code Throwback20. Check out the link in the description. Now, back to the video. And now, we circle back to that shocking private life teased at the start. One of the most jaw-dropping stories from this film isn't about Welch at all. It's about Diana Dors, who played the Madam of the Whorehouse where Hannie tracks down Frank Clements. While Dors had a small role, most of her scenes were cut, her real life was pure tabloid gold. Britain's answer to Marilyn Monroe, Dors enjoyed a meteoric rise in the 1950s and made waves in Hollywood too. She was married 3 times, first to Dennis Hamilton, then to Richard Dawson, and finally to Alan Lake. But it was what happened behind closed doors that really shocked the world. During her marriage to Hamilton, and up until shortly before her death, Dors regularly hosted wild adult parties at her home. These weren't your average cocktail soirees. They were full-blown, anything-goes gatherings with young starlets, booze, and drugs. According to her son, Jason Lake, Dors had hidden 8mm cameras in various rooms, allegedly recording her guests' exploits, some of them big-name celebrities, without their full knowledge. She was said to enjoy watching these private tapes later, archiving her favorite performances. Dors' final years were marred by tragedy. She succumbed to ovarian cancer in 1984 at age 52. Her husband, Alan Lake, devastated, burned all her clothes, and later took his own life 5 months after her death. Eerily, on the exact anniversary of the day they first met. It's a story so scandalous and heartbreaking it almost sounds like a Hollywood script itself. While Diana Dors' life added an unexpected layer of tabloid drama, Raquel Welch's performance in Hannie Caulder stands as a testament to her versatility and star power. Welch wasn't content to be just a pretty face. She threw herself into this gritty role with a passion that left a lasting impact on cinema and inspired filmmakers for generations. By the time Hannie rides off into the sunset, blood on her hands and a heavy truth in her heart, you're left wondering, was it worth it? And that's the brilliance of this cult classic. It doesn't just thrill you, it makes you question the very nature of revenge. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Hannie's quest for vengeance ultimately redeemed her or destroyed her? And what's your take on Raquel Welch stepping into such a raw, unglamorous role? Let me know in the comments below.